Well, looks like Mikel Arteta is into a serious dilemma of who should he keep as a centre forward of Arsenal next summer. Sorry, this summer that we're going to start on the 1st of June. That is Jesus, Nketiah, Balogun. Those three are really having a very huge say into Mikel Arteta's decision of who is going to be left as a centre forward, because it looks like he's really willing to sign in another world-class striker to come on and join his side this transfer window. Welcome to this channel, and it's already a Thursday in my country. I know even if you are in Nigeria, South Africa, United Kingdom, it's already Thursday. That's it. But welcome to this channel. Smash the like button, comment and share. We are discussing about Reiss Nelson on his move away from Arsenal. Brighton is really trying to get the deal done. Sammy McBo coming in from the Daily Mail has gone ahead and really given us another hint about his departure from Arsenal. And a little bit of Serge Gnabry, one of those players that Arsenal has always been chasing ever since he went ahead and really joined Bayern Munich, because he has gone ahead to put in lots of efforts and potentials, and maybe Arsenal would have loved to get him back. But stories coming in from Germany are really continue to distance Arsenal from Serge Gnabry, as he looks like he has gone ahead to make his final decision on where he wants to be playing next season. Now, let's start it off with David Austin. He's really one of those transfer journalists that you'd always want to listen to and give him a lot of attention, because he has what we call news from the source and gets it from concrete sources. Now, he has gone ahead and told us that there is ongoing question about striking department at Arsenal. Can you go with Jesus and Nketiah in Champions League and fight on all fronts, or you need someone to bluster in the area, with an unlikely scenario, it being Florent Balogun? But he concludes and tells us that there is really good chance for Florent Balogun will leave Arsenal permanently this summer. Now, when you look at what he's really saying, Arsenal is going to be playing the Champions League next season. That's no doubt. Arteta wants to be fighting on all fronts. But who do you front as your season really gets better? Arsenal had a plan of only to clinch the top 4 position this season, and they've gone ahead to really achieve it. And winning a trophy for the Premier League would have been a bonus for the board of Arsenal, because their aim was to get back to Europe, and they finally gotten back there. And David Austin is telling us that what is the decision that Mikel Arteta are going to make, because for any elite team, you're supposed to be having 3 strikers if at all you are playing in the Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup and Carabao Cup. You understand? Because even if one of the strikers gets injured, you'll be having one on the bench. That's the essence of having 3 strikers onto your team. When you look at Florent Balogun, he has shown us that he is impatient. With the season he's having in at steady reigns, he's really sending signals to Arteta that I really want to come on and start at Arsenal. I want to come and compete. I'm not going to be a bench player at Arsenal. And he sent a signal when the England national team never really called him, and they called him in the under-21s and said, I'm injured, I'm not going to play. But the fact is, he was not injured. He was just sending a statement to Southgate that I'm really ready. I feel I'm ready to play for the English national team. And that statement was not only meant to be sent to Southgate, the manager of the 3 Lions, but also to Mikel Arteta, that my boss, even though I've come up from the Arsenal Academy, I don't think that I'm at the levels of really getting benched anymore in my career, because I'm here scoring goals for fun. He's having 18 goals in League One with 3 assists. That is Florent Balogun, and that really leaves Mikel Arteta into a huge dilemma, because Eddie Nketiah is one of those players that even when he has gone ahead to play some few games for Arsenal, he has gone ahead to really stand out ever since Jesus got an injury, and that's when he really went ahead to score close to 4 or 5 Premier League goals this season. That is Eddie Nketiah for you. So Arsenal are really working tooth and nail to really solve this situation, because they don't want to have what we call unsettlement into the dressing room. You know, having a player who feels like he should be playing and is not being played is really something dangerous into the dressing room. So Mikel Arteta has found himself in a dilemma on who to sell and who to keep, because you've seen him this season that looks like he's already having his favorites at the club, and he just wants to get in players who can come in through and obviously get the players that are into his starting 11 out, but also comfortable on playing at the bench. Look at Jorginho. You know, you cannot tell me that Jorginho was feeling well when Thomas Partey was really doing bad on the field of play, yet he was there and he had so much to offer in those scenarios where Arteta favored Thomas Partey. You understand? So Arteta is really having a very, 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 very bad decision, very huge decision to make on these players, because Nketiah is okay with it because has shown us that he'll wait for his time to play. What of foreign Balogun? That's it, because he's a player whose arrogancy and ego is really increasing. And can Mikel Arteta try to keep him and really tame his ego down? That's a question for another day, and the answer will be provided, because I don't think Mikel Arteta likes players of big egos, because he came in at Arsenal, David Luiz was thrown out, Mesut Ozil was thrown out, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was thrown out, and all those players were thrown out because of their big egos. I think even Hector Bellerin was also thrown out because of his ego, because I believe would have gone ahead to play some part into the previous 2 seasons of Arsenal. But the manager looks like he doesn't want to keep players who are really egoistic, because they really ruin his dressing room. So I think it's a big decision. But David Austin commenced the tweet or that story by telling us that Balogun might be that one striker that Arsenal might be looking at to sell. And I read a story even yesterday that Arteta is looking at selling Balogun close to 40 million euros and get that amount of money to sign in players that he wants. You know, Arteta needs to get in another centre forward that is really world class, that can come and compete with Jesus, because if you want to take your team to the next level, you need to be having players that are really competing at a higher level than those that you really had the previous season. So let's wait and see how that is going to be solved, because that scenario is really huge at Arsenal, as another player is also knocking on the door or the exit door of Arsenal, that is Reiss Nelson. Sammy McBull, very good credible journalist working in for the Daily Mail. He has told us that Arsenal's expected move to sign a new forward is said to be fueled by the expected departure of Reiss Nelson, who has rejected the offer of the new contract amid a growing belief he will leave at the end of the season when his contract expires. Now, even if you're Reiss Nelson, you know, even if you put yourself in his footsteps, you'll always want an out of Arsenal. Why? He's not being given a chance by Arteta to really go ahead and prove himself more. I mean, this him coming in through in the game of Nottingham Forest and scoring a brace. He scored one and created one in the game of Bournemouth. Arteta has not shown him how much he trusts him to give him a reason to stay at the club of Arsenal. With Brighton coming in through and telling you that we are going to make you a starter next season with us, I think if I told you are Reiss Nelson, you just carry your bags and leave Arsenal. I understand Arsenal is the team that really groomed him from the academy, but I think it's high time they really parted ways. If they really wanted this guy, that is Reiss Nelson, before he went on loan last season to Feyenoord, they would have gone ahead at least to really add one more year on his contract. But it was like Arsenal was planning to see to it that they get some money out of Reiss Nelson, but they had to loan him away to really come out and really put up good results that could attract suitors. But unlucky enough, as Arsenal tried to sell him off towards the end of the season, so towards the end of the transfer window, that is the summer of 2022, he got an injury, so they couldn't really move him on. So that plan never went on as planned. So if I'm Reiss Nelson, I leave, because even my absentia, Arsenal is talking about signing a left forward or a right forward. They wanted to spend 100 million euros onto Mikhailo Modric, who almost plays in the same position where he plays. So I think it's high time he left. And to my surprise, it will come if at all he signs for Arsenal. He extends his contract at Arsenal. I think at that age, 23 years of age, he would love to be playing more games, and Brighton is the team that is going to give him the number of games that he really deserves, because they are having a very good recruiting team. Because even players that really looked washed out, like Welbeck, Adam Lallana, they're at Brighton and they're performing really very well, you know. So I think Reiss Nelson will perform better, especially with the manager they are having, that is De Zerbi, who is really that manager who has gone ahead to improve very many players and obviously take them to the next level. Now, after that story of Reiss Nelson, there is this man, Serge Gnabry, always linked to Arsenal for like 2 previous summers, and this time round we've gotten a story coming in from the Kicker and George Holzen, closest to Bayern Munich, telling us that Serge Gnabry has no intention of leaving Bayern Munich this summer. Neither Gnabry nor his relatives are in contact with the club. The player is looking forward to working with Thomas Tuchel next season, with whom he is a regular. With whom he is in regular contact with, season in, season out. So, Serge Gnabry return to Arsenal or to any other team is really out. Why? I think if at all Nagelsmann stayed as the manager of Bayern Munich, then Serge Gnabry would have been offended and would have wanted to really go out of this club of Arsenal. But with the coming in of a new manager, Serge Gnabry believes that he can go ahead and really prove himself in the hands or in the face or eyes of Thomas Tuchel, and you never know, he'll find himself in a position of really playing the game of football. And I think this is the main essence or main reason as to why Bayern sacked Nagelsmann, as very many players that they thought were good for the level of Bayern had lost hope, and they would have gone ahead to have a very huge, massive exodus of players in the summer, of which Bayern wouldn't like such of things to happen. Now they are having a chance, the new manager is in, and they are trying to convince. They are trying to go ahead and really convince these players that don't go anywhere. Find yourself in a position of convincing the new manager. Then we will see. If at all a season goes sour, then we'll really keep you out of the team and we will sell you next summer. So it shows you that they are really so much observant of the future and they've gone ahead to make their decision. So I think this season, this summer, we don't want to hear more stories about Serge Gnabry to Arsenal, because Serge Gnabry is committed to staying at Bayern Munich and prove himself in the eyes of the manager known as Thomas Tuchel. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Through smash the like button, comment and share. If you're really watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as don't miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Your thoughts on to Reiss Nketiah and Balogun dilemma in the memory of Mikel Arteta are welcome in the comment section below. Reiss Nelson, would you advise him to stay at Arsenal or to go at Brighton? And Serge Gnabry making his final decision of really staying at Bayern Munich for at least one more season before he really gets out, if at all he doesn't get enough playing time. Guys, I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. I sign out for now. See you later, and may the Almighty God protect you. I'm out.